Welcome Motivation Sunday. Welcome Motivation Sunday.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. I wasn't going to say or friends. Look at me starting 2026 all off cue and everything else. But anyway, the show originally created from the more than 300 motivational quotes I created for the contents of my books. Hey, I surrounded myself with a group of wonderful people, highly intelligent people that started this show, and we were just all curious. How do these quotes land on you? Were they things that were just words on the page, or was it a conversation to be had? So I surrounded myself with Miss Larnez, Miss PJ, Miss Lois, Miss Vanessa, Miss Gilda, and the misters with all these misses, Naheem, Christopher, Otis, and the voice of our show. Wait a minute, I got this backwards. Curtis, and then the voice of our show. Um, we got together and we said, look, let's put something together and see what it talks about. So we meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And each week, someone brings a quote, which today, Larnez brought it. And based on our interpretation and perspectives, we have some serious, deep conversations, sometimes funny as crap. But anyway, never know what to expect with this crew. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to the voice of the show. He's going to deliver for this Sunday's quote of the day. Otis, have your way with us.
Good Sunday, everybody. Today's quote: "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," by Marcus Aurelius.
I can see the battle stars lining up right now to see what's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, normally this person normally is she's running the last leg of the relay for us, but today she's running lead off. So, Miss Larnez, Marcus Aurelius, how does this quote land on you?
Well, Grand Rising, happy to see everyone on this Sunday. I chose this quote for reflection because my body lived it before my mind could explain it. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way. Recently, I had the super flu. It made me sit down, not symbolically, not metaphorically, but physically. First, I had an asthma attack and ended up in a hospital. They told me that the super flu triggered it. I haven't had an asthma attack since 1999. So suddenly, the quote was no longer philosophy, it was physiology. The impediment was my body, the obstruction was my breath. The thing standing in the way of my forward movement was the very thing demanding my attention. And in that moment, I understood Marcus differently. The impediment to action advances action because action isn't always movement. Sometimes action is stillness enforced by the body when the soul has been ignored. The flu slowed me down. The asthma attack stopped me. What stood in my way became the way back to myself. Lying there, listening to the rhythm of assisted breath, I realized I had been living on shallow inhales, productive, capable, resilient, but not spacious. Asthma is the body's language for constriction, for the moment when life says you cannot keep taking in the world this way. And the fact that it returned after decades told me something important. This wasn't regression, this was memory. This was the body's memory of what my mind has outgrown. So when Marcus says what stands in the way becomes the way, he's not talking about obstacles disappearing. He's talking about initiation. The obstacle became the teacher. The interruption became the instruction. The pause became the path. Sitting down wasn't weakness, it was wisdom arriving through lungs instead of intellect. And when I stood back up, I wasn't the same person who went down. I was clearer about my pace, more relevant about my breath, less willing to outrun what needs air. If your body has ever forced you to stop through illness, exhaustion, or an old symptom returning, don't rush to label it as failure. Sometimes the impediment is not blocking your life. Sometimes it is its way life saves itself. And once you listen and you don't just move forward again, you move forward differently. And that's how this hit me.
Wow. That's strong opening.
Do not call me next.
I am not going to call you next, but for our listeners, listening to the way she built this up, started with the foundation, and then she started to lay brick after brick after brick, and every tall building stands on a foundation that will last for life. Resistance does build strength. And that's amazing. Thank you for bringing such a wonderful quote with us. And, it's just like at the end of the show, it's so hard to follow you, no matter if you're the first leg or the very last leg. But we're going to see what happens to Mr. Curtis Battles as he pulls up and he takes the baton on the second leg. And matter of fact, we're not running just an Olympic leg. We're running the relay of life. So we got several batons to exchange here today. So just hold on. Curtis Battles, how does this quote land on you?
Well, happy Sunday to all. It's always a pleasure to join you and be part of the Sundays with Kevin and friends. Happy New Year to those that I may not have seen since the beginning of the year. I really hate that you put me right behind Larnez, but that's
All right, we
okay.
can change that. Forget it. You don't have to hate. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was still working on getting myself together, but I am ready to share what this comes across to me.
All right.
So a lot of times I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. And there are days when you get up and you are full of fire and ready to go out and take over the world. There are other days where you get up and you're like, oh, another one of these. I can't believe that whatever didn't happen, and I'm running out of money. People are not listening to me. It's just not going the way I want it to be. And I think what that tells you is tends to be some kind of impediment that is getting in the way of what you want to do. And I find that the way that I enter the day and the mindset that I bring to it has a lot to do of what path I'm going to end up going down. So is the impediment inside me, and that I just can't imagine that big of a future and that big of a way, and that I need to reframe what I'm doing, and so that's what stands in the way? Or is it an external piece that I may or may not be able to control as much? And so when you think about it, and I think Larnez talking about when you're standing up, you were hit with this disease, and then suddenly it's about getting back up on your feet day after day. So you get knocked down from whatever thing that has come across, but it's about getting back in the game, and it's going, what do I need to do to make a difference today for myself, for my family, for my community? And yes, the business is important to get there, but it's really about what is the real goal that you're searching for. A lot of times, I don't think it's about, you're not motivated by money on the long term, but you're motivated by making a difference. And so that is how this landed on me.
And then very well spoken. We take today for granted because we are always seeking for tomorrow, or we're reflecting on what's behind us instead of what's standing before us. You guys, we had a quote a couple of weeks ago, focus on the step, not the staircase. Life itself has its challenges, but life does not exist without purpose. And until you identify what your true purpose is and the reason why you're here, the reason why you do things or whatever, I will tell you if you're struggling with an identity, grab someone close to you and just hug them for about a minute or so. The answer will come into focus. It'll be clear. So, with that said, Otis, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and, in that silky smooth voice of yours, I've said that 100 times. I can't wait till you get discovered to give us the quote while Vanessa gets ready to deliver her share on the quote.
The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
All right, Miss Vanessa Vita, how does this quote land on you?
Well, it was I would like to first say grand riches, grand love, grand rising. Feel that way because I as well have asthma. And it's amazing that when you're at the cusp, what is going on? Something to real. Whether it be not being able to breathe. Am I present?
We're trying to follow you. Yeah.
Okay, because I saw the notes there. Whether it be not being able to breathe, whether it be not being able to speak, whether it be not being able to see, whether it be not be able to hear, we all have power to down all those obstacles that come to stop us from truly believing and understanding. And we just have to believe, because that's the evil, the chaos in the world that's stopping us from what our purpose is, what our true divine power is. And you just have to pray through it, stand tall, and succeed. With that, I land my plane. Thank you very much. God bless.
All right, and hopefully everyone buckled up and they know where all the exits are, emergency exits, and then they're traveling with small children. Please make sure that you put your mask on and leave that little brat to be on their own, until you come around. But anyway, we're gonna set this up. All joking. Don't get offended if you got small children that's sitting on the plane with you. Go ahead, save yourself, then come back and get your kid. We know how that's gonna go. Probably these kids with AI will be out before the plane even lands. All right. So, Christopher James, I again, I'm not going to go through another day, another year without thanking you for your service. Being in the Navy, being a man of great purpose and presence. Thank you for serving your country, and thank you for serving your country at a time that your country wasn't exactly serving you, but you gave willingly, and we appreciate that. It's no slam on any serviceman, because my father and grandfather, my brothers and great grandfathers and grandfathers before that all served in the military. But I also have to remember what it's like when my grandfather came home from World War II. There is no parade for Black soldiers. All right. So I just wanted to acknowledge that this country, either we're turning the channel forward or turning it backwards, but we need to quit streaming on our history. But anyway, that's another conversation. So, Christopher, how does this quote land on you?
Grand Rising, everyone. Yeah, I spent Saturday with my grandson at the submarine base there in Connecticut, and it's nothing better than having a grandson following your footsteps. This quote today took me a minute to put it in perspective and get my mind to wrap around it, but I simply saw it as goal recognition, goal identification. And without ever using that particular quote, I can certainly see where it was really, really present in almost everything I did. I wake up or I show up looking for, what's the topic today? What's the goal today? Where are we headed? And without any formal recognition, whatever that obstacle is, it becomes the goal, and it becomes that focal point for the day. Looking at that quote, I couldn't help think about the what was that show? The Star Wars and Goku and all that Mandalorian thing. But the Mandalorian saying, "This is the way."
Right.
Very, very often, once you focus all your energies on getting a particular thing done, that thing that gets in the way becomes the way, and that's all you're focused on now, getting that done. And sure enough, the next day there's a whole new way, there's a whole new obstacle, there's a whole new goal, but never really realizing it. That quote pretty much sums up, the way I've operated. Give me a problem, and I'll work together to find the goal, find the solution.
All right. It's amazing the way that struggle prepares for you. What did my grandfather say? He says, life gets hard before it gets easy. And sometimes when it gets too easy, we forget the struggle. And so we always got to remember that. I'm going to turn to one of our sisters from another mister, all these beautiful queens on here. PJ, how does this quote land on you? Look at her.
Oh,
What's up? Look at Hollywood. Look at her. All right.
I'm going to put on those glasses that make me look smart now.
Here you go. I'm going to get me a pair of those.
This one stunned me. I was on the phone this morning with a friend who just experienced a tremendous loss. It was a slow, painful, ugly death, and she called me to talk about it. And the last thing I said to her was, the negative works for the positive. A few minutes later, I see the quote and I went, whoa. And this quote will, Larnez, thank you. This quote's going to keep me going all week, because when I say the negative works for the positive, I always think of electricity. We wouldn't have it without negative. Positive has an itty bitty tiny bit more power than the negative, but not a significant amount. So if you don't have both, we don't have life. And what we see as an obstacle sometimes is just a way to put us on the right path. We're going down the wrong road and we get a smack. Like I know I mentioned this to you once before, that I use as an example when I'm teaching people universal law and how we are directed. So most people never become successful. I think it's 2 or 3% of us will ever have our dreams come true. So what happens is we're standing on the edge of an abyss, and there's this huge void in between us and success. And we have to decide if we're going to take that empty-handed leap into the void, or if we're going to stay in the safe place and never realize our dreams. So what the universe, aka God, will do is it'll give you a little push, like go ahead, push it towards the cliff. And if you're really, really hell-bent on becoming successful, you will get a larger smack, and finally you'll get that bitch slap that sends you to the other side. It's not pretty. What are you laughing at, Kevin? I used the big word. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. Keep
I'm
go
going.
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead and use
I'm
that word.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So an
Matt,
obstacle, an
go ahead.
obstacle is merely a way to put us on the right path. And then I thought, I just remembered that insurance executive who, when his people would come to him and say, "We have a problem and it's serious," he would say, "That's good." And then he taught them to set about to figure out what was good about it. And we go through this all the time. Marcus Aurelius lived in a time like we're going through right now. Everything looks hopeless. It's violent. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. He was going through the same thing. So everything is a test. Our faith is tested constantly. And as I said last week, I started when Kevin said, give us something to take us through the new year, I said, keep a high watch on your thinking. Our faith is tested constantly. The more our faith gets stronger, the more we're tested. And I'm going to take this with me throughout this week. That was a beautiful quote, Juanes. Thank you very much.
And I have to agree that that is a beautiful quote. And Marnez, thanks for bringing that. And PJ, as always, thanks for bringing a smile. We all know why we were smiling on there. We had a break. We had a breakthrough moment on the show.
The B word, breakthrough.
Breakthrough. So, without any further ado, Gilda, all right, we're going to see how this quote lands on you. And it's a funny thing, I'm going to say this. My grandmother, when rest her soul, she was in a assisted living home, and her roommate had taken her doll and denied that she had taken it. And I think Theo, my youngest son, was about 14 or 15 years old. And I had never seen my grandmother react this way. And I said, Mom, we'll just buy you another doll. She goes, no, as soon as you leave, I'm going to smack that. You get feeling away. I said, Grandma, I never heard you say that. And Theo said, let her talk, Dad. So anyway, Gilda, I got a little bit off track or my thinking. But anyway, and the other thing, you see what we're doing here today? I think we need to smile a lot more. We need to hug a lot more. We need to love a lot more. Find a reason to smile, to be happy today. Gilda, go ahead. How's this quote land on you?
Grand Rising, everyone, and Happy New Year. Well, this quote landed on me as in, keep going, keep moving, and continue on. That's how it landed on me.
Look, that was a lot of words for 2026, Gilda.
I mean, Gilda just keeps impressing me every Sunday, I swear.
Yes, yes. And for those of this tuned in to 2026, Gilda is the person that she goes right to the jugular. She gets right to the point. So if you miss anything, I'm going to tell you, play this back because it gets deep. We're going to turn to our sister from the islands, but I'm going to let Otis deliver the quote just in case we have some new listeners that showed up late, but you're on time. Anyway, if you don't mind, before Lois shares, Otis, with that voice, go ahead, fire away.
The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
All right, Lois.
Grand Rising, and thank you, Lawrence, for bringing this morning. Awesome. So I'm going to keep it real simple, real factual, and real personal. So everybody knows that I'm full of smiles. Everybody knows I'm full of energy. And nobody can understand where this energy comes from. Like, Lois, what you on? I want some of that. What pill do you take? What vitamins? I take none, to be honest with you. I take none. I smile all the time. I don't smoke. My sister just said smoke. I don't smoke. I don't drink. But I have this inner energy or strength and peace, and for me it just comes natural. And then maybe I'm wondering, so why are you so tired, or why don't you have the energy that I have? But I get along with it mentally, physically, and everything else. But I work in the medical field, so occasionally I do get tired. I do have to stop, and I can't function. So if you hear Lois says, I am tired, I am tired, just let me rest. If it's an hour, if it's 2 hours, if it's 4 hours, just let me rest because I am tired. So that would impede everything that I'm doing. My work, first of all, my home life, my every other kind of life. So that mental comes to you and said, okay, or you gotta just slow it down a bit. For me, it's just that I need to rest. I don't know if I was speeding or not. I just know that I cannot continue. I gotta take a break. So, Larnez, this is really, really personal. Like I said, it may be a simple thing, but I'm energetic. I smile, and if I am really upset, I don't speak at all. And I'm usually speaking all the time. So if I'm really mad with somebody, I don't speak. I have nothing to say. So thank you. I'm smiling, I'm hugging, I'm loving, I'm energetic. And I want to share that with you guys. Thank you.
And thank you for sharing what we would call back in the day a natural high. That's right. Don't smoke it, and don't drink it. All right. But when I'm quiet, what's that song? Quiet Storm. All right. All right. So we're getting to that point, when we were running around, one baton handed off to another baton, another story to be told, another adventure, another look and a different perspectives or interpretation of life. We were going the whole gamut. But let me introduce you to a brother from another mother. All right. He's out there doing this thing. Every door that opens is because he turned the knob itself. It was never open for him. Every footprint in the snow is an original footprint because the man walks with purpose. Every time he reaches out his hand, he is creating something for someone to be comfortable with. And every time he opens his heart, he's loving someone that's not ready for to be loved. And so without any further ado, um, Mr. Nahm Garcia, how does this quote land on you?
I thought you was introducing Otis the way that was sounding. I was like, whoa, man, I am honored to be around this guy. Thank you. Peace, everybody. And Arnez, we thank you, but we thank Marcus Aurelius for making this quote because it's lasted thousands of years and it's got people really thinking. The obstacle is not a roadblock. It gives you an opportunity to grow, learn, adapt, use the challenge to fuel the situation to overcome, take difficult paths and don't avoid them. Essentially, don't run from difficulty. It's like energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy can either go through you, around you, but it's going to continue to move. You have to be that energy. You have to understand, for example, my car died. I work in Boston, an hour away. What does that mean? Does that mean I find excuses to not make it to work? Do I find excuses to not move? Do I walk around with an attitude? Do I walk around feeling defeated? Or do I adjust? Go get myself a bus pass or a train pass. Wake up a little early. Get to where I need to be. Try to be early for a change, earlier than usual, so you can really prepare. So don't use those opportunities as moments of defeat, but use those opportunities as moments to rise and find yourself. Yes, it's hard, but if it was easy, everybody be doing it. Peace.
I'm going to say, if it was easy, everybody be doing it. Peace out. Thank you, young brother. You know something? I'm going to tell you, in 2026, I see success written all over every single face. I see it being played in the tone of every last one of the voices on this show. This is going to be a great year. There's an obstacle that's in front of all of us. No matter how you interpret what you see or what you hear or what you believe, there's an obstacle before all of us. Now it's just up to you to either remove it or let it stand in your way. And so we're at that point of the show where we're kind of wrapping up just a little bit. And this has been a wonderful show. Great start off to the new year. So you always know at the end of the show, is it Otis or me? Otis, I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm a little nervous on my end following all these great interpretations. I mean, and today, these words didn't just lay there on a page. These words had a life to it in each and every share that we've had on here. So, Otis, if you don't mind, before you give your share or your interpretation of this quote, will you deliver the quote one more time for the show?
The impediment to action advances action. What stands in your way becomes the way. And basically, the same thing that most people have said, but in my own version, when you are stuck, you find a resolution. That's your action. That advances your resolution, allows you to move forward. Let nothing hold you back.
Let nothing hold you back. So, great quote, Larnez. We appreciate you bringing this quote. And to our listeners, I'm going to bore you a little bit because I can't say anything that would shine any more light on this quote than everyone else has. But based on my interpretation, I'm going to say this quote reminds us of the obstacles that we create that we call roadblocks. I just think they're invitations. What we often label resistance is actually refinement. Every challenge that we face carries instructions, carries strengths, carries a purpose. If you're willing to lean into it, you'll learn a little bit. I think Marcus Aurelius in his teaching us is about the process of forging through resistance. The very things that slow us down also helps us to develop skills, helps us to strengthen our character, creates discipline that we need to move forward. And it also removes the obstacles and define them not as things that are in our way, little detours, but it's the path that set our way. So get them the hell out of the way. Obstacles are a teacher, not punishment. Growth lives in our discomfort. Avoidance delays the breakthrough. Every challenge we have is our purpose. Discipline turns these barriers into bridges. Adversities refines your characters. The way forward often runs into difficulty. And what do they say that steel does what? Naheem, what does they say? Steel sharp as what? How's that quote go?
Steel sharp.
Yeah, that's what he said. Still sharpens that. But anyway, your struggles, they prepare you. So what I would say to all of you that are listening to the show, I want you to take little snippets from each person and maybe post it on your social media. I want you to stop waiting for the obstacles to move you. Step into it. What stands in your way is not shaping you. For what you stand for is your reality. The struggle is not a sign to say stop. It's a sign to say grow. You're not blocked. You're just building. All right, that's just something for you to know. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, following us throughout the 25 year and going forward with us in 2026. If you like what you've heard, you can always go to our YouTube page at RMK Production and Network. You can subscribe, follow, do all those things that the social media always ask you to do. But I want you to remember one thing. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place in life that you can help someone else out, he said it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said,
We fade to black.
All right. All right.
Come back.
All right. And until next time, I want to thank all my co-hosts, Larnez, Naheem, PJ, The Voice, Otis, Gilda and Christopher, Curtis, Vanessa, and for my island girl, Lois. I want to thank you for always riding and dying with me. Until next week, peace out.
Welcome Motivation Sunday with Kevin and friends.